How do you stand strong for Christ and stay on point with the Lord when you're tempted, when you're stretched, maybe when you're discouraged, or when times are just so hard you almost feel like you can't go another day? Hi, Alex McFarland here, your personal apologetics professor. And for a moment, I want to talk about endurance. How do you endure and stay positive when times are really tough? In Hebrews chapter 12, and I want to unpack a very key word here, but it's talking about, of course, in Hebrews 11, the Faith Hall of Fame and all of the great leaders of old, that many of whom they died for the gospel, and yet they didn't even know what you and I have been shown, that the tomb is empty. We've got the Bible. And then it goes on in Hebrews 12 and it says, let us run with patience the race set before us. Now here's the key, Hebrews 12:2, looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy set before him endured the cross. Now listen to these words, despising the shame, and now Jesus is sat down at the right hand of God the Father. Early in my Christian life, when I read that, I wondered, despising the shame. What does that mean? Well, did it mean like Christ thought about the pain of Calvary's cross and said, oh, I despise that? It's not really that. The wording in the Greek is kataphreneo. Two words, K-A-T-A and phreneo. Now, what does this mean? Christ was en route to Calvary, the pain, the agony. And yet, how did he go through with it? Well, a lot of reasons. He said he was here to do the will of the Father. But Hebrews 12:2 says he thought about the joy set before him. And kata means to look down, phreneo, to think about something. And in the 19th century, there was phrenology, the largely discredited view about how the brain works. But to kataphreneo means to realize this. Christ realized it. I think it might be beneficial for us to ponder it as well. The pain you're going through is minuscule compared to the joy you'll experience when you face God one day, unashamed. And it wasn't always easy. It wasn't always convenient. Maybe people didn't understand. Maybe your stand for Christ, people have even made fun of you or mocked you. Maybe if you get serious about your walk with the Lord, it even costs you some friendships or relationships. But you remember that, look, living for the one who gave his life for me is worth it. Kataphreneo, you realize whatever you do to sacrifice, to commit, to stand with the Lord who gave his life for you and for me, it's worth it. You know, our dear friend Erwin Lutzer wrote a book called 1 Minute After You Die. And Lutzer says this, that in the presence of God one day, as the Lord says, well done, good and faithful servant, all that you gave up and all that you gave for Jesus, Lutzer said, you will know the minute you enter heaven, it was so worth it. You know, Isaiah 53:10 says it pleased the Father to bruise Jesus. In other words, if it means that millions would be saved like you and like me, and the masses of humanity that would be rescued from sin, then the cross, it was worth it. That's how much he loves you. And so, no matter what you're going through, let's look unto Jesus, the author and finisher. Hey, thanks for watching. Please share this. Please like us on social media. Pass the word along. Our website, alexmcfarland.com.